Assalamualaikum, dear students. Last time we read the poem Go and Catch a Falling Star. We try to examine the poem to see it critically. This poem contains 27 lines. There are total 27 lines divided into three stanzas of 9 lines. From the very beginning of the poem, in the very first stanza, the poet tries to establish a conversational and personal tone with the listener, and it seems that the listener is a passive listener. Actually, it is a kind of monologue in which only one person speaks, but on the other hand the listener does not speak. Only one person speaks, so it is called monologue. In the poem, and from the very beginning, from the very first stanza, we come to know that the tone of the poet is very emphatic, and there is very strong line from the beginning, go and catch a falling star. So it is a typical method of done that from the very first line he makes it clear that what is the tone of the poem, and from the very first stanza we come to know that he is talking about difficult task. There he puts forward 7 difficult tasks, and actually his behavior towards women is cynical. His tone is satirical. Throughout the poem, tone is satirical and cynical. William Shakespeare also said about the women that frailty thy name is women. You have also read the poem by John Keats, Love, Adams and Mercy, in which it is shown that a beautiful lady betrayed the knight. So that poem also shows faithlessness of a woman, and the poet laments that beauty and faithfulness never go hand in hand. They are never combined in a woman, beauty and faithfulness, fidelity. So from the very beginning we come to know about the theme of the poem. The theme of Donne's poem is woman's inconsistency, infidelity of a woman. So that is why he makes the listener to perform some difficult task. There are 7 difficult tasks, and they all are impossible. So he actually asks the listener to perform impossible task from the very beginning. So a kind of very close relationship is formed between the poet and the listener. Actually, Go and Catch a Falling Star, the poem is very typical of Dunn's themes. Actually, he has three definite phases of his poetry, and this poem belongs to the very first phase of his life, of his poetry, because when he wrote this poem he was 20 years old, almost 20 years old. So the first phase actually is when he was in his 20s, when he was involved in such kind of affairs, and he actually complains about the inconsistency of women. The second phase starts when he met his soulmate and he married her, and his second phase of poetry is somehow different from the first phase of his poetry. And then again in his old age there is third phase of his poetry, in which he writes divine poetry, his religious poetry. So these are clear cut division in his poetic career. So this piece of his poetry, this poem actually does not features all the characteristics of metaphysical conceit that is found in his other poems, but there is an interesting comparison presented between the stanzas. He compares the impossibility of something. For example, go and catch a star, it is actually an impossible task, and he actually makes a comparison that as it is impossible to catch a falling star, in the same manner it is impossible to find an honest and beautiful woman. So he uses the technique of exaggeration. It appears that speaker has true belief that he will never be able to meet a woman who will treat him fairly and who will not prove herself later on unfaithful. So the throughout the poem there is a consistent rhyme scheme that is A B C C D D D. So this is the rhyme scheme in the poem. So we see that the poet is actually in a very frustrated mood, and under the influence of utter frustration and disappointment he makes it clear that it is not possible in the world